now that we have our joints for our eyes for moving them around in the socket, we're now going to build a control system. So we'll need 2 circles to mimic the character's eyes. So I'm just going to create a NURB circle. There it is. It's all the way down there. Okay, increase the size of this. Let's rotate it around 90 degrees. We're going to kind of make them like they're spectacles. Okay, make it a little smaller. And I am going to snap this on the x-axis here. So I can get it right with the eye and do Z. Like that. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to duplicate it and do the same thing. Again, be careful if your character is not, his eyes are not symmetric. Okay. I'm going to move those out a little further out. Like that. Freeze it and delete history on those. So this is going to be my left eye icon. Okay. And then right eye icon. Okay. So now we're about to connect these up. So we're going to use something called an aim constraint. So under constraint, aim in the setting. Now this actually rotates the driven object based on an aiming point. The key thing is understanding what our aiming point is. Our up axis on this joint is going to be Y, like that. You see it says up vector. And our aiming vector is the one pointing down away from the object. And this is one of the reasons why I don't like the geometry, because the geometry might have a different axis. And our geometry, I believe, is pointed away. And you could freeze it and do all types of things like that, but the joint gives us more control. So we're going to use X. So it's really important that this is lined up with here. Otherwise, it's going to move our system. So we're going to say our aim vector is X and our vector is Y. So that's kind of a lucky shot that they're correct. It's not always the right one. So I'm going to say driver driven and hit apply. Now I'm going to look and make sure my eye doesn't go crazy. It moves a little bit, and you can see it has a little bit of a rotation on it. Now I should be able to move it, and if I'm in show wireframe on shaded, you should see the eye move around like that. Okay. Now here's a little bit of the weird one. This eye is inverted because we mirrored it over. So when I say driver and driven, it's actually not positive X, it's actually going to be -1 because this is the direction, and it's going to be -1 on Y because it's pointing down. So I hit add, and you see it did move in a little bit. It seemed like it moved in quite a bit, so let's make sure I didn't mess anything up on that. I could always move it out if I needed to, but well, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so now we have our eye controls, and we could select both of these and just go through and do that type of thing. But I want to have something to control both of them. So I'm going to make a new circle. Okay, I'm going to rotate it around so it's forward like this, and this is going to be my overall eye control. Think of it as like a mask. I'm going to be doing a little more tweaks to this as it goes on. Now what I want to do is I want to pinch. I went into control vertexes, and I'm grabbing my 2 CVs, and I'm just going to scale them down like that. And I'll definitely need to increase the other sides here. Like that. Now I really want this to fit around this shape because I am not going to move the eyes to match that. So I'll move that in like this. Let's go in a little bit further. His eyes are going to move out farther this way and this way than the other one, so I'll leave that on there. Okay. And pretty much what we'll do is it'll do this. It'll do that. Okay. But it's just mainly giving a control to access a little easier. Okay, so I'm going to freeze this and delete history. And this is going to be my eyes, my central eyes icon. And we're just going to parent these together. We're just going to parent my left and right eye, and I'm going to shift select my control at P. I don't want to constrain these because it will actually make it so you can't animate anymore. But now, when I move it, you can see I can do this. I can move both the eyes together, but then I can also move them separately. So how do we connect to this head box? Pretty easy. Our head box is a control. So I can completely parent one control to another control. And the hierarchy is not going to be a real issue. It's not going to be hard because it's like right underneath the head box. So that's actually pretty straightforward right now. The eyes go through, and there's your eye controls. I'm going to turn off my wireframe unshaded. Doesn't get in the way.